Good morning, children. Today we are going to start a new lesson. Lesson number 14. The topic is Democratic and Nationalist Revolutions in 19th Century. In the previous lesson, you people have discussed regarding the French Revolution. So, what are the things which was happened in France and the nationalistic revolutions in 17th and 18th century. In this lesson, we will discuss regarding the 19th century nationalistic revolutions. And both the lessons, the previous lesson and this lesson will be similar somewhat, but only the moments what we are discussing in this in different countries will be differs. So in the previous lesson we discussed regarding French Revolution, and in this lesson we'll discuss regarding the unification of some of the countries, that is German unification and Italian unification. So let us start the video. Before starting the video, I request everyone to take your textbook along with this video. Just you open the textbook, this lesson, particular lesson what we are discussing now, and get ready for the lesson. Then only you can understand the content very well. So here, nationalism and rise of European states. Children, one more important thing, that some topics in this lesson were deleted according to the reviewed syllabus. So I am not adding all those topics, and the remaining topics will be covered in this video. So here we are going to discuss regarding nationalism. What is nationalism? Nationalism is nothing but showing a lot of patriotic feeling towards the country is called as nationalism. And here different type of nationalistic revolutions were started because they want to make the country to be united together. As if you take India, India is a country with many religions and languages in the same, but even though it is called as a single country, but if we see any of the European countries, all the European countries have established depending upon the language identity. So one language speaking people used to live in a one particular country. So that is called as a nation state. So a nation state is the one in which the majority of its citizens and not only its rulers came to develop a sense of common identity and shared history or descent. So when they have all these things, then it is called as a nation state. And all of you open page number 171. There you can see a map. This is Europe after the Congress of Vienna in 1815. So 1815, after the death of Napoleon Bonaparte, that we have discussed in the previous lesson, that is in 13th lesson also. So after the death of Napoleon Bonaparte, Congress of Vienna was formed, and they have discussed regarding the entire Europe, how it should be afterwards. So this is the picture of the Europe. And I already said what is a nation state, and in the previous lesson we have already discussed regarding Jacobin clubs. So what are these Jacobin clubs? Jacobin clubs are the clubs which are used for the radical thinkers. So radical democracy thinkers is called as Jacobin clubs. They'll be there and they'll discuss regarding the problems what the people are facing in the society, and what are the things they should be taken into consideration. That will be discussed in this clubs, and these are called as Jacobin clubs. And this is a picture of the nation states. Almost Austria, Hungary, Habsburg families, all these are called as a nation states. Kingdoms of Europe. Everyone open page number 173 in your textbook. Then there you can see the heading Kingdoms of Europe. So in that we'll be seeing different type of places. Countries were divided into many parts depending on the people where they live. Example, take Andhra region. Telugu people live here. So this is considered as a one country in Europe. So when a same language identity is there for the people, then they'll have a separate country. So in such a way, the kingdoms were created in Europe. So the Habsburg Empire that ruled over Austria-Hungary is also an example as a patchwork of many different regions and peoples. And this region also includes Alpine regions, the Tyrol, Austria and Sudetenland and Bohemia. So where the aristocracy was predominantly German speaking. and it also included the Italian speaking provinces of Lombardy and Venetia. So the people who they are living there also speak different languages. This means that any of a region is there. Example, take Hungary. Hungary, half of the population spoke Magyar, while the other half spoke a variety of dialects. And also in Galicia, the aristocracy spoke Polish language. Besides these three dominant groups, there also lived within the boundaries of the empire a mass of subject peasant peoples called as Bohemians and Slovaks. So like this, many people were there, but all these people speak different type of languages. So from this, different people came a separate depending upon their language. Who are speaking German, they all form into one of a country called as Germany. So the other people who are speaking Hungarian language, they formed into one of a country called as Hungary. So, like this, afterwards, the nation states were created depending upon this. Presently, the countries what we are calling Germany, Austria, Hungary, Italy, all these are the countries were formed in the same way. And the kingdoms of Europe is completely changed to the states. I hope that everyone understand. Once again, children, listen clearly. So, different type of empires used to be there before. So, these empires, some of group of people speak different language. Some other group speak different language. So, what they thought that when we are speaking one language, we can be here, but we are many people here and speaking different types of languages, so we should be more separated and we should be in the area where we speak a common language. And so one single language speaking people have separated and they formed into a one separate country. So in the same page in your textbook in 173, you can see some important years, children. Did you see? So there some important years are there. Just go through that. Next, serfs. Who are called as serfs? Who were born to the land of a particular lord and could not migrate without the permission of the owner. So, who are the serfs? The small farmers who will be working under the control of a landlord, and they could not migrate without the permission of the landlord. Then these people are called as serfs. Small farmers who did not have any land, they will be working on the others' land. Those are called as serfs. And here, in these serfs, western and central part of Europe have many serfs, and working class population is also more in these areas. The next topic what we are going to discuss is conservatism. This conservatism was started after 1815. So, I already said after the defeat of Napoleon in 1815. Actually, in the previous lesson we discussed regarding the death of Napoleon. Napoleon was isolated from France and he was sent to a rocky island called as Elba, and there itself he died. So, after the death of Napoleon, the European governments were driven into the spirit of conservatism. So, after the defeat of the Napoleon in 1815, European governments were driven by a spirit of conservatism. So, what is conservatism? The ideology that says about the protection of old traditional practices is called as conservatism. So, they'll be protecting all their old traditional practices. And conservatives, they believed that established traditional institutions of state and society like the monarchy, church, social hierarchies, property and the family should be preserved. So they think that the old traditional things, what are they? Everything should be preserved, and that concept is called as conservatism. Understand, children? So we discussed regarding nation states. So what are the nation states which have a common identity are called as nation states. And in kingdoms of Europe, so the areas where the people are speaking a common language, they formed into a separate country called as kingdoms of Europe. And serfs also we discussed it. Who are serfs? Who are working under the control of a landlord and can't migrate to other places without his permission. Those are called as serfs. And what is the concept of conservatism? So they protect the old traditional practices. So all the things will be preserved here, and that concept is called as conservatism. But later modernization also took place in this conservatism. So you open page number 176 in your textbook, children. You can see one caricature there. So it is the Club of Thinkers anonymous caricature dating to 1820. So at the top of this caricature, you can see some posters. The most important question of today's meeting: how long will thinking be allowed to us? In this picture, if you see, all the people have tied a mask to their mouth. Okay? So they are not at all speaking. Only the capacity is given to think. So, in the other box, if you see, silence is the first commandment of this learned society. Second one, to avoid the eventually whereby a member of this club may succumb to the temptation of speech, muscles will be disturbed to members upon entering. So why they have tied a mask to their mouth? Because of this, other when one person speak, others will be get tempted, and they will be disturbed. Because of that only it was tied. And whatever the thinking is given to them, they should think, and that thinking should help them, that they should what they should do for the society. So this is only called as the Club of Thinkers. Understand, children? This is called as the Club of Thinkers. So conservative regimes were set up in 1815 were autocratic. And here one of the major issues taken up by the liberal nationalists who criticized the new conservative order was freedom of the press. So censorship on press is given here. Press means at that time no newspapers were there, but they used it to write it on the walls. What are the things which are there? They used it to write it on the walls, and that is called as a press at that time, and that is also cancelled. Censorship is there. Whatever the ruler says, that only should be followed. If anything against to the rulers was written there, and there will be lot of punishments for those people. So there is a censorship on press also. Next topic is Romanticism. So what is this Romanticism? It is a cultural movement which sought to develop particular form of nationalist sentiment. So Romanticism is a cultural movement. It creates a lot of nationalistic sentiment among the people. And here culture played an important role in creating the idea of the nation, like art and poetry, stories and music helped to express and shape nationalist feelings. I already said the whole lesson is regarding the unification of the kingdoms. So same language people, speaking people will be in a different areas now. So all those should come together, and a country should be established. For that purpose only they started this concept called as Romanticism. So what this says, that culture also will create a nationalistic fervor among the people. And in this culture they have included art and poetry. Through art and poetry we can create nationalistic feeling among the people, and through stories and music also. So even in our freedom movement in India, we have used all these music, stories, puppet shows, such a type of arts were also used here. In the same way, here also culture played a very important role, and that is called as Romanticism. And if you open in your textbook page number 177, you can see the picture. So these are the arts. It is a massacre at Chios, and it was given by Eugene Delacroix in 1824. The French painter Delacroix was one of the most important French romantic painters. His huge painting depicts an incident in which 20,000 Greeks were said to have been killed by Turks on the island of Chios. By dramatizing the incident, focusing on the suffering of women and children, and using vivid colors, Delacroix sought to appeal to the emotions of the spectators and create sympathy for the Greeks. So this is the same painting. So here he has created this picture, and he did not know the picture what it is, but he had thought that something was happened there. So he has drew this picture with his views upon this thing which was happened there, that is the massacre of Chios. So this is the art which is showing that the Greeks were killed by the Turks. It creates some sort of sympathy upon the Greeks among the people. So this is only called as Romanticism. So a cultural movement which has created the nationalistic feeling among the people. So here we have discussed regarding the nation states, kingdoms of Europe, serfs, Jacobin clubs, and we discussed regarding conservatism and romanticism. So these are the topics what we have covered in this video, and in the next video we will be discussing remaining all the things. And here is an assignment, children. So what is nation state? Who are serfs? Define conservatism. Define romanticism. So these are the questions for the assignment, and we'll meet you in next video, children. Thank you.